So good morning. If that didn't get you up and moving and awake this morning, I don't know what would. I asked Martha earlier if I could play my tambourine with her, but she said no, so I didn't get to play along. No, not really. I don't play the tambourine, and you would probably be glad that that didn't happen. But thank you for being here this morning. My name is David Howard, and I'm the senior minister here at Unity Spiritual Center, Denver. And we're so glad that you chose to spend part of your Sunday morning with us here today. I want to read to you, share with you, something that I was reminded of this week. As we're looking at all that's going on in the world today with racism and awakening to racism and injustice and in many different areas of injustice and oppression in the world, I wanted to share with you this that comes from Unity Worldwide Ministries, of which we are a member. And it is their statement of their social action position. And I thought it was important for us to be reminded of this because I think it's important for us as a member of the Unity Worldwide Ministries to embrace these ideas. And I know that we do, but I wanted to remind us all of them. It says, Webster defines the word unity as, quote, the state of forming a complete and pleasing whole, end quote. At this time in the evolution of the planet and the lives of human beings upon it, the task of, quote, forming a complete and pleasing whole, end quote, is the imperative for positive evolution and harmonious existence for all. This perspective has seemingly been lost. Our wholeness, our oneness, our sameness as a human race. We must now remember more than ever that we have much more in common than that which divides us. The Unity movement stands for and will tirelessly work for harmony, so all people may know the freedom of peaceful expression, so they may know their own inner worth and essential contribution to the whole of life. Where there are divisions of opinions, beliefs, and perspectives, unity embraces curiosity, exploration, and expanded awareness of the gifts of diversity. Where there is fear of, quote, the other, unity stands for inclusivity and peaceful acceptance of another's right to create the life of his or her choosing. Where there is oppression and hatred, we stand for justice and understanding, and for extending compassion, kindness, and forgiveness to restore balance. Where there is discrimination, we stand for inclusivity and equality. We pledge to be an advocate for the well-being, respect, and civil freedom of every human being. Any proposal or action that seeks to discriminate against individuals or classes of individuals based on prejudiced, stereotypic profiles of national origin, class, creed, race, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, or gender identity is in opposition to the core beliefs and values established by our founders. We choose unity. In harmony with the divine spirit, we stand, so we may live in a spiritually awakened world that is continually evolving. This is our prayer and our decree. Through our actions, we let it be. So I thought that was important for us to be reminded of. Certainly, we may not need that reminder, but it's so important to know that we, as unity, as a unity movement, stand for the inclusivity, the equality, and the freedom of all people. And we are pledged to do all that is within our power to make sure that we co-create a world that embraces those values. So if you're new to unity, I wanted to share that with you to let you know that we are a loving, affirming, welcoming, inclusive community. We welcome you, whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey. And to affirm that, here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver, we have a creed that we say every week. So I invite you to say it with me now. Our God is love. Our race is human. Our faith is oneness. That was a little lengthy reading, but I have just a short one for you as we lead into meditation. And this comes from Pema Chodron, and this is her book, Comfortable with Uncertainty. What you do for yourself, any gesture of kindness, any gesture of gentleness, any gesture of honesty and clear seeing toward yourself will affect how you experience your world. In fact, it will transform how you experience the world. What you do for yourself, you're doing for others. And what you do for others, you're doing for yourself. When you exchange yourself for others, it becomes increasingly uncertain what is out there and what is in here. So join Stephanie as she leads us in Surely the Presence as we lead into a time of prayer.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So I invite you, if you are in a place where it's comfortable to do so, just to close your eyes. Closing out the stimuli of the outer and opening our inner eyes to witness, to become the witnessing presence of that divine life, the life of God, of Source, the divine life energy that is living in and through and as you, in and through and as me, in and through and as all humanity and all creation in this moment. And as we take a breath and we breathe into that awareness, we come into conscious union, communion with that divine presence, that divine life energy. And as we open to the awareness of that, we know our unity. We know our oneness in and as that life in and through each other and all humanity and all that is. We know our oneness. Through all of the diversity that we witness on the outer, as we open to the awareness of that life within, we know our unity, and we celebrate that unity. Beyond any label, any identity that we might assign to ourselves or others, we celebrate who we are as expressions of the one life, the one power, the one presence that we call God. And so in that awareness, we hold each other and lift each other up into the conscious awareness of that truth. And I invite you, wherever you are, to bring to mind and into your heart anyone, any group of people, any situation that might be heavy on your mind or might be weighing on your heart, and just bring them into the awareness of this divine life living itself in and through and as us and in everything in its fullness in this moment. Knowing that that life is the source of all that we could ever need, all that we could ever desire. That life is the fulfillment. And as we claim it for ourselves, we claim it for each other, and we claim it for all those that we have held today in our hearts and in our minds. And we are grateful. Grateful for the knowing, grateful for our willingness to claim it, because we know that it is so as we allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.
Hold on to love, hold on to truth. Look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love. All the pain and devastation around us every day, it's so easy to give up and close down. How do I keep my heart open and alive when a part of me is scared to reach out my hand? But I don't want to wake up and face each day with fear, no. I want to live my life with a purpose that is clear. So I'm gonna hold on to love, hold on to truth. Look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Gonna hold on bad news affect me, I'm gonna take the time to look a stranger in the eye. I'm gonna smile at someone before they pass me by. 'Cause it's the little things that just make us feel connected. It's the little things that let us know we are one. So I'm gonna hold on to love, hold on to truth, look for the good and then praise it. Gonna dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love, hold on to love. I gotta keep believing that people are good. I gotta keep believing that we're here for each other. Gotta keep believing that there is a higher plan and that God's in charge. We just need to give the most love that we can. We've got to hold on to love, hold on to truth, look for the good and then praise it. Dance in the light, turn away from the dark. Hold on to love, hold on to love, hold on to love.
Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie Chang, back with us again this morning. Thank you, Stephanie, for your beautiful spirit and the song, and thank you for singing that for us this morning. So this morning, we continue with a series that has become a series of lessons on compassion. And at the center of compassion is what we know as the Golden Rule, which basically says, do unto other people as you would have them do unto you. And the Golden Rule is a tenet of every major religion or spiritual tradition. It's expressed in different ways, but it basically says the same thing. So I'm going to share with you some of those sayings from different traditions. From Islam, no one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. From Brahmanism, which is Orthodox Hinduism, this is the sum of duty. Do not unto others that which would cause you pain if done unto you. From Buddhism, hurt not others in ways that you find hurtful. From Confucianism, surely it is the maxim of loving kindness. Do not unto others that which you would not have done unto you. From Taoism, regard your neighbor's gain as your gain, and your neighbor's losses as your losses. And from Judaism, what is hateful to you, do not to your fellow man. That is the entire law. All the rest is commentary. And of course, from Christianity, from Matthew 7:12, in everything do to others as you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. So the Golden Rule, as we know it, as I said, is a tenet of all of these traditions. And it speaks to the heart of compassion. which really is to see each other as ourselves, to see the other, the perceived other, as myself, and to treat the perceived other as I would want to be treated. And so as I thought about that this week, I thought, well, it's interesting that maybe we might want to look at how do we want to be treated? And why do we want to be treated that way? Because I think if we have more clarity about how we want to be treated and why we might want to be treated that way, it might give us some insight into how we would want to treat other people. And as I go through this today, I meant to say this earlier, but today I want to invite you into this message. And I'm going to ask you some questions that I'm going to invite you to answer for yourself. So you might want to have a piece of paper and something to write with as we're going through today. Because I think these questions can help to spur in our own minds, our own understanding of what it is that we want and how do we want to be treated. Because I think that's so important. So ultimately, my bias is that what we all want is to ultimately know ourselves as the divine and to live in the fullness of that. To live out the fullness of our divine nature, our sacred worth, our own unique expression of God. I believe that's what we all ultimately want. How that shows up, how we live that out will be different for all of us. But ultimately, what is underneath it, I believe, that's what we desire. So what would that look like? This is your first question. What would that look like for you? To know your divine nature, to know your sacred worth, and to express that sacred worth. I'll share with you, for me, it would be self-expression, being in touch with that energy of life, the life energy that's living as me, to be confident and secure and fearless with courage and authenticity and passion, self-expression, self-actualization, giving all that I have to give with freedom, without concern, and just giving from that. And what I know about that too is that it's an inside job. Ultimately, each of us is responsible for claiming it, for owning it, for realizing it, and for expressing it. I know that. I get that. That's one of the things I love and one of the things I hate about unity is that it calls us into self-responsibility. We don't put it out on somebody else. It's ours to do. But what I also know is that we don't live in isolation. None of us lives in isolation. We live in relationship. We live in relationship with everything that is around us, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and we live in relationship with each other. And the relationships that we have with each other impact us. They affect us, whether we like it or not. And so as we're living in relationship with other people, I think it's important for us to ask ourselves, well, what could somebody do? What could somebody do to me or for me that would encourage me to know my sacred worth, to live my sacred worth, to give all the things that I am here to give, to own my gifts and talents, and to just let it be expressed. So maybe that's the next question that you might want to consider for yourself. How could somebody treat me? What could somebody do? How do I want somebody to treat me? And some of the words that come to me are with kindness and respect and compassion and understanding and forgiveness and encouragement and support. I want people to support me and treat me with kindness and understanding, so that I can more fully and completely embrace who I am and all that I can be. And the next question will be, well, what might that look like? I know what I want. I know how I want to be treated, but how do I know when I'm getting it? And I think it's different for all of us to some extent. It's not going to be the same for all of us, but I think it's important for us to look at that. How do I know when I'm getting that? And so for me, it comes down to someone being present with me. Someone asking me, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your desires? How do you feel? What's going on with you? Tell me about it. Tell me about you. Tell me about who you are, what's going on with you. And someone who's going to speak encouraging, kind words to me. Somebody's going to say, yes, you can do it. Yes, I believe in you. Yes, you are worthy. Yes, you are a beautiful expression of God, and I am here to support you in knowing that and lifting you up in every way I can. Not tearing you down, not saying unkind things to you, not telling you can't do it. No. But seeing me in my true nature and in my highest nature. So that's how I imagine wanting to be treated. When I look at my deepest desire, and I look at how I want to be encouraged and supported in realizing that deepest desire, however that shows up in the world, that's how I want people, how I want to be in relationship with people. And just imagine, what would that feel like if every person that was in your life and they were encouraging you and supporting you and telling you how wonderful you are and how magnificent you are and what a beautiful child and beautiful expression of God that you are, and being present with you, caring about you. Wouldn't that be fabulous? Yeah, that's how I want to be treated. Anybody else want to be treated like that? So the next question that comes to me, but after all of that is, and I want to ask you this yourself, for you to answer for yourself. So are you giving it to yourself? Are you treating you? Am I treating me the way I want to be treated? Am I honoring my dreams, my aspirations, my visions? Am I honoring that divine presence that is living in and through and as me by being with it in prayer and meditation? Am I sharing my gifts and talents freely? Am I listening to myself? I invite you to ask yourself those questions. Are you showing up for you in the way that you want to be treated? And if not, why not? Why not? I know sometimes we're taught that to be present and to own your gifts and talents and own your magnificence and own who you truly are is self-centered, egoic, selfish. We shouldn't do that. Nobody wants to see that. But I love the Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles perspective on that. It's a difference between being selfish and being self-full. Course in Miracles says being selfish is withholding your expression of God from the world. That's what being selfish is. Being self-full is recognizing and realizing your divine expression of God and freely giving it to the world. Selfishness, as A Course in Miracles says, is withholding God from God. Self-fullness is sharing your expression of God with the God in other people. So maybe that's a little bit different perspective. Be self-full, not selfish. Another reason we may not give ourselves that is because we may tell ourselves we're not worthy, that we're not deserving, or we have taken on messages from those other people in our lives who weren't always the most encouraging and supportive and weren't treating us in the way we wanted to be treated. It could be our family, our parents, our siblings. It could be our teachers, our schoolmates. It could be society as a whole. That tells us we're not worthy because of whatever they deem to make us unworthy. Whether it's our skin color, or our religion, our culture, might be our sexual orientation, gender identity. In some cases, it might even be our gender. You know, for me, it was sexual orientation. I grew up in a culture that said that wasn't okay. And as much as I would love to say I didn't take any of that on, that wouldn't be honest. I did take that on. And I did grow to believe that there was something wrong with me, right? But I love what Brené Brown says, and I'm sure you're familiar with Brené Brown. Let me see if I can find the quotes I wanted to share with you. She says, worthiness does not have prerequisites. And she says, owning our worthiness is the act of acknowledging that we are sacred. Owning our worthiness is the act of acknowledging that we are sacred. You don't have to deserve worthiness or do anything to deserve worthiness. We are worthy simply because we are. We are sacred. And we are here to realize and recognize that for ourselves. So it can take some time. It can take our willingness to do our own work around that. Again, it goes back to self-responsibility. It is an inside job. Ultimately, it is an inside job. But there are people who are here to help us. People who are willing to see us, people who are willing to encourage us, people who are willing to reflect back to us our divinity, our sacredness. And so if there's any of that going on for you, and if you identify anything like that, find people. Look for others who will tell you how wonderful and marvelous and beautiful and talented and gifted you are. Because we all get to do that work. And then as we do that work, as we claim our worthiness, and we begin to believe we are worthy of being treated in a way that is going to support us and encourage us in realizing who we truly are, we can begin to give ourselves those. And so I'm going to invite you, if you go through some time and make a list of those things that people could say to you, the things that people could do, the things that would help you to feel and be more in alignment with your worthiness, begin to give those to yourself. Pick one this week. Say those things to yourself. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're magnificent, you are a beautiful expression of God. And I am here to support you and to encourage you in knowing that. So how do we want to be treated? It's so important for us to realize that. And then, we can begin also to ask for what we want. To ask other people for what we want and to teach people how we want to be treated. And to set boundaries. I have some resistance to that word. I like the word borders because they seem a little bit more flexible. But to know, what am I available for and what am I not available for? To love ourselves enough to know how we want to be treated, to say, I'm available for this and I'm not available for that. I'm available for you being present with me, sharing with me, supporting me, but I'm not available for you to talk me down, or to in any way discourage. I'm not available for any abuse, whether that's verbal, whether that's physical, whether that's emotional, whether that's spiritual. I'm not available for that. I love myself enough to know how I want to be treated. And in that process of claiming that and owning that and coming to clarity around that, then we get to imagine that everyone else wants the same thing. Everyone else wants to know their beauty, their divinity, their sacredness, their worth. Everyone. I can't imagine any human being on the planet who does not want that. Who does not want to be treated with respect and kindness and compassion and forgiveness and honoring. I cannot imagine any human being on the planet not wanting that. We may have different ways that we want to have that expressed, but I believe ultimately that's what we want. And when we know how we want to be treated, then we can use that information to treat other people in that way. That is the essence of the Golden Rule. And we can take that one step further. We can step into the Platinum Rule, which says treat people the way they want to be treated. We can ask. We can be responsive. We don't always know what somebody wants. We don't always know. We may know ultimately they want to know who they are. They want to know their worth. We may know that they want to be treated with kindness and respect, but we may not know how that would show up for them, what that would look like for them. And so we get to ask. We get to listen. We get to pay attention. And then we get to take action. And as Pema Chodron said, what we do for ourselves, we do for others. What we do for others, we do for ourselves. When we know that we are one. And so it's the essence of compassion connecting with what it is. How do we want to be treated? And then knowing that because we are one, chances are very good that everyone else wants the same thing. And doing our best to respond to that. Give it to ourselves. Treat ourselves the way we would want another person to treat us. And in that place of deep presence and connection, we are more available to treat others in that way as well. So again, I invite you this week to practice. Maybe answer some of those questions for yourself. Practice at least one thing that you can do to love yourself more. And practice at least one thing that you can do to be in that place of treating others the way you would like to be treated. If you're still going to the grocery store, imagine treating the cashier the way you would want to be treated. Any interaction you have with another, is this the way I would want to be treated? Is this how I would want somebody to show me my worth and my value? And if not, make a different choice. The heart of compassion. Living from the heart of compassion. It's knowing we are one and treating each other from that place of knowing. So I invite you just to take a breath as we go into a time of meditation. We do that by focusing for a moment on the breath, becoming aware of the gentle inflow and outflow of breath. Allowing that gentle inflow and outflow of breath to be a reminder for us of the ceaseless flow of that life energy that is breathing us, that is beating our hearts. As a reminder that we are all expressions of that one life, one love, one power, one source. The life energy, divine life energy of God. And as that, we are beautiful and wondrous and unique expressions of that divine life energy. And so I invite you now to open up your awareness to be filled with that knowing. I am a divine expression of God. I am here to live and experience that life in its fullness. And I am here to support myself and to support all others in the remembrance and the realization of that truth. And so imagine your entire being just filled with that light, radiating that divine presence that you are. Claiming it, grounding it, being it, embodying it right here and right now. And so as we take a few moments in the silence, I just invite you to be with that presence, to know that light and that life is you, the truth of you, and that you are here to give it birth. the silence. So once again, just return to the breath as a reminder of that life that is flowing, ever flowing in its fullness, in and through and as you. Knowing that it is the same life energy that flows in and through and as all humanity. And we are here to remind each other of who we truly are and to support each other in living the fullness of that life. Just take a breath. Breathe all the way down through the bottom of your feet, grounding your energy, grounding this awareness today.
Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me.
So now is the time when we have the opportunity to support the ministry here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver. I want to say thank you to all of you who continue to give electronically, continue to send in your checks. We so appreciate it, and it's so valuable and needed. And we bless you and thank you so much. So I invite you to say with me our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
I don't care if you're straight, I don't care if you're gay, I don't care who you love, I'm here to love you anyway. Don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, I don't care what color you are, I'm here to love you with all of my might. 'Cause you are my sister, you are my brother, you are a part of me. Let's face it, you are my family. I don't care if you're thin, I don't care if you're fat, I don't care what you eat. My love is so much larger than that. I don't care if you're rich, I don't care if you're poor, I don't care how much separation or alienation, we are still one.
Thank you again, Stephanie, for that beautiful song. Both of the songs Stephanie sang today were written by Karen Drucker, and we are so blessed to have Stephanie with us. Thank you, and certainly our band. We are always blessed to have Martha and Scott and Nick with us, so thank you. Today we will have fellowship on Zoom at 11:30, so please join us. And at 11 o'clock, immediately following this service, there will be a children's message that is provided for us by Reverend Kelly Isola, courtesy of Unity South Central Region. So tune into that. It's an engaging and a fun message that she has recorded. So again, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being here, and hopefully soon we will be able to open our doors and welcome you back into our space. So I invite you to join me as we say our closing prayer. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. And now, please join Stephanie as she leads us in our closing song, Love Can Move the World.
Love can move